All right, this is the third enemy we face when we're doing a culture transformation project for your organization. Enemy number three is the us versus them mindset. Us versus them mindset. It prevails in human anatomy. It's in our brains, hardwired for many, many, many years. Our brains do this thing where we see ourselves as part of an in group and an out group. Like there's two different groups kind of everywhere we go. We're the in group, you're the out group. Whatever that is, it could be, a team, it could be a neighborhood, it could be a place that you're from, it could be, some type of association with an organization or a religion, whatever that is. But in workplaces, we'll see it between one department and another, or maybe the people on the floor and the people right in the office, people in the clinic, people in in the front office. There's some type of us versus them. The reason it happens is because our brains are wired to try to think in groupings of human beings and to connect ourselves socially to something and to see the distinctions between us and another group. It becomes a problem when it starts to divide us, though, right? So this us versus them mindset sets in, and we become hyper focused on our own world. And what happens over time, sociologists would tell you, is that as we see ourselves as part of the in group and see another group as an out group, we start to inflate how good we are mentally and even verbally, and start to diminish how good the other group is mentally and verbally. And the more we do that over time, the more we think we're better and the more we think they're less. And everything we do kind of confirms how much better we are and how much worse they are. And we start to just focus on this division and the gap between the two, which is not healthy for anybody. We inflate our good and inflate their bad to the negative, right? This distinction just brings division over time because truthfully, we are all one team here. You're all one team. And so the rule to combat the us versus them mindset for number three, rule number three is we have to think we before me. We have to think we before me. We being the big we, right? The needs of the whole outweigh the needs of the one or even the one group. Organizations that thrive have to make decisions that are good for every different department. It can't be just about what one department needs or what one person needs. It'll never work. Right? So when you find yourself starting to think about the difference between us and them, and you start to diminish how good they are and inflate maybe how great you are, instead of trying to say, well, what the back office wants is like what we want, or what billing really needs is blank. Instead, start asking yourself, what would benefit the organization as a whole? If we were going to work on this, what would be good for the front and the back? What would be good for the floor and the office? Right? What would best benefit our entire organization for our patients, our customers, our clients as a whole? Okay. A team is a group of people with individuals' wants and desires, but what's important is that I am not as important as the whole and vice versa. So, tell you a quick story about this. Um, what I've noticed in a lot of these assessments that we'll do is that groups that are really falling victim to this will start to even vilify the other group, right? We'll meet with the group and they'll say, yeah, they're terrible. I can't believe how bad they are. And they'll just say they're trying to ruin the business. They're trying to tank what we're doing here. And they'll even say things like, man, I think that person's the devil, or I think something is seriously demented in those people. They'll have gotten so far, and sociologists would tell us this is what we eventually do after amount of time of focusing on this gap between us, is we start to vilify and dehumanize the other group. And it creates these false narratives in between us, and it just drives even more division in between. And eventually, we'll even make up fake things and say, I think the reason they're doing that is because, and insert some sort of like terrible, oh, they're actually possessed type of phrase, or they're trying to actually blackmail everybody. They're trying to ruin the business, something that nobody would come in and try to do. But we'll believe that it's actually happening over time because of this us versus them mindset. And it's your brain working against you that's trying to protect you in a way that's unnecessary in this situation where we is more important than me. Okay. So if you could start to position yourself to go, you know what? It's not about us and them, it's about we as a whole. And instead of thinking about what this group needs and that group's needs, what do we need and what do you need? We are all one thing together. And if you can think about it that way, and when you start to identify these places where thinking and talking in the us versus them, you say, wait, but it's not about that. It's about us as a whole. What do we need to do this really well? And how can we get there? If you can start to think that way and be a champion of that thing within your organization, you'll be one of the people who can help start to turn it around and combat the us versus them mindset by thinking we before me.